Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you don't mind, subscribe. I want to try to touch base on, for those that are interested in solar and battery backup and so forth, something you might run across. Now, as you know, I'm using the LiFePO 4 batteries, lithium iron phosphate. Um, some of the issues you may come across. This applies to 24 volt or 48 volt systems on the batteries. Now, if you're experiencing less kilowatts than you have, in my case, I'm only getting roughly a little over about 1.5 kilowatt per battery, which I should be getting close to 3. I'm getting about 50% less. Why is that? Well, it's not the batteries. It's something the batteries need in order to be more efficient. And it's what they call a balancer. They have a BMS. And what happens with the BMS, the reason I'm pretty positive this is the situation. The reason I'm not getting the kilowatts per battery that I expect is that there is no balancer. What happens when you got, in my case, I've got 24 volts. I've got 8 batteries in each one. We're just going to focus on one single battery so we make it a little simple so you can understand. What happens with the LiFePO 4 battery, your battery management system, BMS, looks at each individual cell during the discharge and charging cycle. Now, on the discharge side, if the batteries are not balanced, you got a cell that's down here. Now, as the batteries are used, they go down. Well, the battery management system looks at the lowest battery first to protect those batteries. Because if you go below their safety voltage, you can damage the battery. So when that low voltage battery hits its low point, BMS shuts down. Now, on the charge cycle, just the opposite happens. When they charge back up, the BMS looks at the mostly charged battery. When it hits its peak, that's it. It shuts down. But you still have a low battery. So what I'm going to have to do, and I'll do this, it'll be a couple of months before I attempt it. I'll have to pull each battery out, check the voltage on each cell, and determine that I am correct on what I just explained to you. And I'm going to order battery balancings. And it's just a small device, it takes time to get the batteries balanced, which I will try to balance my batteries before I reassemble. And the easiest way of doing that is hopefully they're using the nuts and bolts on it, is to pull the cells out and put them all in parallel, which would put them at 3.5, 3.6 volts at full charge. And just parallel them all together and let them set for a few hours. Since I don't have a 3.6 charger, that's what I have to do. And they will equalize. It takes some time for them to do that. And once they equalize, I reassemble with the balancer and reassemble the battery. And that should get me back up to reasonable performance. Probably out of 4 batteries, I will double my storage capacity. I'm quite positive that's what's happened with these batteries. They're not balanced. Because even if there's used batteries in there, that would be the problem. I thought 4 batteries, under most cases, will give you many years of service, even I use cell will. Say if, in my case, they're 150 amp batteries, say they were used batteries put in there, they still, even if it's under a life cycle, will have 80 to 90% of their capacity, which will, in turn, they'll maintain that for a long time. They don't degrade it like a lead acid battery. It's a much longer cycle. And when I do this, I want to try to do some videos on it, disassembly, testing, and so forth, with my crude electronics and stuff that's available that I have on hand. But I will try to do my best to explain everything when I do this project. But first thing I want to do is actually get a new inverter, which unfortunately it's going to be a little time. Hopefully I can save the money I need for it, which is not a big amount of money, but at this point in time it's something I can't reach. Because a new inverter is about $500, the one I want, which will give me 1,500 more watts of power and put me back into automatic mode, where it can switch back and forth from the grid on its own. My old inverter, if you've been watching my videos, you know it got damaged because of a bad receptacle. It blew the AC side out, the grid side out of my inverter, so no longer can I use the grid through the inverter. Fortunately, I've got my system set up where I have a separate switch between the inverter and the grid that I can switch back and forth on, but I have to do it manually. And you don't save as much on the manual switching. But that's the way it is, and hopefully you got something out of my video or have some kind of understanding. And thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.